One thing's for certain, I'll be blooming glad when we can go back to the barbers again. Challenge. Can you get from Bournemouth Pier to Poole Twin Sails Bridge on a bike without using roads? You can sort of do it by riding on the prom to Sandbanks, along Sandbanks Road and over Beta to the quay. However, there are cycling restrictions on the prom. The Sandbanks Road is frankly dangerous for cyclists and there is too much road riding for my liking. The idea of this challenge is to stay within the town boundaries and use cycle paths and green spaces as much as possible. The name Bournemouth comes from the Old English word bourne, meaning small stream or brook, so it quite literally means the place where the stream enters the sea. The first part of our route follows the Bourne stream, 70% of which is in Poole. Okay, so I planned the route out, but I've only ever cycled about half of it, so it should be interesting. I've charged everything up, formatted the cards, but I bet you there's some cock-up somewhere along the line. Bournemouth Gardens. Bill Bryson, who worked at the Echo on Richmond Hill for a while, points out that the gardens used to be called the Upper and Lower Pleasure Gardens, but it was changed to Upper and Lower Gardens at some point because Lower Pleasure sounded rude. Some Bournemouth trivia for you. Charles Rolls of the Rolls-Royce Partnership earned the distinction of being the first Briton killed in a powered aircraft accident. It happened at an air display on Hengistbury Head. He started out selling Peugeot cars. Okay, so this is known as Bournemouth Square. Funny thing is, it's never actually been square. It's always been a roundabout. Okay, how do we get down there next is the question. Haha, I think I can see the way. The great train robbers' first arrest was in Bournemouth. Before the robbery, two of them rented a garage just off Castle Lane from an ad in a newsagent's window. The lady who owned the garage was a policeman's widow, and she had suspicions. She called in the police, who came round for a chat and a cup of tea, probably cake. Anyway, the robbers turned up whilst the cops were there having tea, so they nabbed them and searched the van, finding loads of money. Yeah, let's do it. Frankenstein's creator, Mary Shelley, is buried in Bournemouth, although she never lived here. Her son, Percy Florence Shelley, lived in Boscombe, and when his mum died, she wanted to be buried with her parents, who were buried in London. Rather than have her buried so far away, he had her parents exhumed from London, and the whole lot buried / reburied in Bournemouth. Her parents were William Godwin and Mary Wollstonecraft. Oh, okay. What's that then? Lived here all my life and I've never seen this. Let's have a look. No information at all. I googled the tower and it was a water tower for a sprinkler system and fountain. It's no longer used apart from the bats that live there. Gothic towers, bats, Frankenstein. Another literary giant who lived here was Robert Louis Stevenson. Among his works were Treasure Island, Kidnapped, and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So this is where Bournemouth ends and Poole starts. We're entering the borough of Rough Poole, which I'll explain. We were driving home one day and one of the Welcome to Poole signs had been defaced by someone with a sense of humour, and the name Rough Poole has rather stuck. We've been riding through Bournemouth Gardens and so far no road miles. It's a very pleasant area to walk in, especially the upper gardens where it's a lot quieter. So this is Poole heading towards Coy Pond. I'm loving that bridge. Let's go over it. No cycling, let's not do that then. Be a good boy and obey the signs. What the hell was that? Oh, my water bottle fell off. Said there'd be cock-ups. So this short section is about 0.2 miles worth. Should take us out onto Talbot Heath. Nope. Gonna have to walk. So that's the main Poole to Bournemouth railway line. And we're now on Talbot Heath. Older road, let's do that then. Time for some Poole trivia now. Poole Harbour sits on top of Western Europe's largest onshore oil field, producing 13,500 barrels per day, yet you just wouldn't know it was even there. I remember all sorts of methods of extraction being discussed back in the 70s, but it ended up being oil wells dug at crazy angles and loads of nodding donkeys concentrated on Fursey Island in Poole Harbour and Witch Farm on the Purbeck side of the harbour. John le Carre was born in Poole and J.R.R. Tolkien lived here. Enid Blyton didn't, but was a frequent visitor. Many of the places she wrote about in her books are around here. Corfe Castle is Kirin Castle, Brownsea Island is Whispering Island, etc, etc. So mentioning cock-ups, the one thing I didn't pack was a USB-C lead, so I can't charge the action cam. Oh, choices, choices, choices. Looks like it's this way choice. Fork in the road. Let's go right.
Another author who didn't live here was Jonathan Swift. He wrote Gulliver's Travels. There is an area in Poole called Lilliput, and it's rumoured that Swift wrote the book while staying in Poole and borrowed the name. However, Swift died in 1745, and the name Lilliput first appears in 1783 as the name of a large house in Poole, possibly owned by a member of the Gulliver family. Being Poole, they were obviously smugglers. The name Lilliput was adopted by the town in 1911, so Poole Council was slightly disingenuous in making up such claims and putting up a mural in the Arndale Centre commemorating the connection.
Hi, where does this one end up then?
You keep going back.
Okay, I was looking for Alder Road Part, Sainsbury's.
Oh yes, yeah, this way too. Yeah.
All down in that direction.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
I never cycled here before, and I thought, well, I could use a map or I could not, so
You wanna go, yes?
I went for not. All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Cheers. I think like this whole bike needs a service, a bit like its owner, really. Not entirely suitable for bikes. Hard to believe we're in a town.
So far, our route has taken us from Bournemouth Pier through the upper and lower pleasure gardens to Coy Ponds and over Talbot Heath to Sainsbury's Alder Road.
So I should explain the ground rules of the challenge, what counts as road and what doesn't. The last bit we've just been on does, and this bit, because there's a cycle path and green space to my left, I'm not going to recount. So you've got the Bourne stream on the left behind the trees. To my right's Wallace Down, and we've just passed Sainsbury's on Alder Road. We're still going on bits I've never cycled before. Can you just squish past a minute, please?
Sorry.
No, well, I need a break sometimes, I'm old.
Not as old as us.
Ah, there we go. That's the Bourne stream. Not a huge river, but it's where the name of the town comes from. Yep, so we've got Bourne stream on the right. Wallace Down Road's up on the right as well. Yeah. Thank you very much. Cheers. Oh, choices, choices, choices. Let's go this way. A lot of people out with the dogs today. Lovely day. Yeah. I think this is where we're meant to go. I think it's St Brelades Avenue.
From Sainsbury's, we followed the stream along Bourne Valley to Ringwood Road.
So this apparently is the source of the Bourne stream, somewhere under that roundabout. So we're back on some well-trodden turf now. Anyone that's seen the first couple of films will be familiar with this bit of road. But to my right there is a walking path, but it's a bit too overgrown for even me to ride, so we're doing it the hard way. This adds 0.4 miles to the total of roads.
Camford Heath is a superb place for walking and cycling, high up with great views of town and heathland.
So for anyone who saw the last movies, we've been riding on Lady Wimborne's Road. Section ahead is Lady Wimborne's Road, which takes us to Camford Magna. But we're not going that way today. They're going to bear left. There is a reason. That's all I need, cows. Anyone that knows me knows I've got a terrible fear of cows. Oh shit, that one's a bull. Let's get out of here quick. So where we're at is basically north of Camford Heath. The housing estate's just down there to my left. And over there towards right is Wimborne.
Back to some Poole trivia. Poole Harbour used to be an airport. Okay, for flying boats. BOAC, the forerunner of British Airways, used to operate them from Poole Harbour, flying to all corners of the world. The route has taken us from Ringwood Road via Belbourne Road and along part of Lady Wimborne's private drive. We cut across the heath to Longfleet Drive and then back towards town.
So there's a reason we came all over the top of Camford Heath. Firstly, I love the heath, it's really one of my favourite places to ride. Secondly, this is a red brick road. Now this must have been put here when the developers were doing the houses to my left and my right, but as a cycle path and the walking path it's brilliant, and from this direction is actually downhill, which is a plus.
And it's back to Poole trivia. The African Queen with Bogart had a scene supposedly filmed in Poole Harbour. The reed beds where the River Piddle enters a harbour was used to film a scene where they were hiding from the gunboats. I say supposedly because when I was fact-checking this, the tourism website stated it as fact, but the movie sites put it as a definitely maybe.
So here's where we make a bit of a diversion. This underpass goes under Camford Heath Road. To my right is the Nuffield Industrial Estate. There's lush and what have you. To my left are the houses of Camford Heath. Coming up to a little Lady Wimborne cottage called Longfleet Lodge, which is just here. Many years ago, all of Poole was owned by the Wimborne estate. To finance the Lord of the Manor's trips to the Crusades, he sold Poole to the Burgesses of Poole, and Longfleet Lodge marks the dividing line between the Wimborne estate and the bits he sold off to Poole. So we've still got the playing fields of the school to the left, and the right is still the Nuffield. We're coming up to the tip right now, I think. Okay, so this is a bridge over the dual carriageway. As you see, it's a bit on the busy side, being a good boy and walking it.
That section took us along the Red Brick Road, down Darby's Lane North and over Dorset Way into Oakdale.
So this is where the rules get a bit sketchy. It's not really road, not really green space. It is, however, a cycle path. You've got the dual carriageway to the right and Oakdale to the left. Although this bit's quite nice by the looks of it. Guess that's a good thing about a mountain bike. He doesn't mind going over grass. I'm going to count this as not road. So you've got the Fleets Bridge roundabout to my right, and I think we're coming up to the Fleets Bridge. Yeah, that's the Fleets Bridge pub on my left. We go there for carveries quite a bit. Choices, choices, choices. Okay, we're going to go under here, whatever. Footpath closed. We'll see about that. To my right was what used to be Staples, which is going to be Lidl or an Aldi. Same thing really. And B&Q's on my right as well. Okay, I will count this as road when it comes to the final reckoning. This is round the back of B&Q's.
We followed Dorset Way to the Fleets Bridge roundabout, round the back of B&Q and onto Holes Bay.
Okay, and the reason for that little bit of road riding is this. We get onto the Holes Bay track, one of my favourite places to ride again. The only problem you've got is this blooming hill. When I used to be fit, I was good at that. See if we can do it. I'm not as unfit as I thought I was. Oh, choices, choices. No, I don't think I'll go with the rough bit just yet. Let's go the easy way.
And the last section takes us along Holes Bay, past Asda to the finish line at Twin Sails Bridge.
Oh, it bloody well would, wouldn't it? What a time for it to decide to lift. So, to answer the question, can you get from the pier to this place without using roads? Surprisingly, for the vast majority of it, most of the time I was on paths, heathland or cycle tracks with very little on the road.